was actually our biggest one yet, was that mouth pop. I might just mouth pop.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. And I'd always count it in for you if you need it.
Oh, that was a good one. I'm doing that from now on, Sam.
You're delighted by that.
That thing is huge.
You're delighted by that noise.
Doing it. All right. We know.
All right, great.
Future is mouth popping.
The future is now, Danielle. And the future is mouth popping.
Let's do this.
Please.
Everybody, and welcome to Book Retort's 50th episode. I'm Danielle.
I'm Sam.
And as we said, this is our 50th episode. It's our extravaganza. We are very excited about this. Explosion. There's balloons. You can't see them, but
and confetti.
They're here.
Just imagine confetti.
So, for our 50th episode, Sam and I thought we would honor some other media that also made it to 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's apparently not that easy for a lot of these things to happen.
Was surprisingly difficult.
Yeah.
So we have each chosen an episode, a 50th episode of a TV show, and we are going to explain it to the other person. So it's our same format. It's something that the other person's not familiar with, and it should be interesting since it's in the middle of seasons.
Yeah, no context. Who needs context?
Great. I'm very excited about this.
Now, Danielle, you've generously volunteered to go first.
I have.
And I am waiting with bated breath.
Okay, so Sam, for our 50th episode extravaganza, I have chosen the 50th episode of the great, the remarkable, the fabulous Xena, Warrior Princess!
Yay! Lucy Lawless for the win. I love it.
It's gonna be fabulous.
Oh man, Xena, this is gonna be really good.
It's great, and especially because I have not seen Xena since I was 12, but I have watched all of Xena, pretty much, I'm pretty sure. And I'm not good with my Greek-Roman mythology, so I can't give you any more context than what's in this episode, Sam.
Perfect. I can't wait to hear this.
The 50th episode of Xena, it's called The Deliverer, and it's season 3, episode 4, so right smack dab in the middle of Xena.
Sure.
I do not have a summary for you. Did you need a summary? Were we supposed to do summaries?
I mean, you don't have to. I think we all understand Xena.
Yeah. So you know the background on Xena, correct, Sam?
She is a warrior princess. It takes place in a fictional Greek, I mean fictional, obviously, but a fictional Greek mythology. So it's not the actual Greek mythology, which is also fiction. I'm confusing myself. Point is, yes, she fights evil deities and things.
Yeah, that's Xena. Let's go with that.
Sure. I mean, I know she's a warrior princess, and she has a totally platonic friend.
Yes, named Gabrielle, who is heavy in this episode. So
excellent, because I like her.
It's good that you know she exists.
I do know she exists. I don't know anything about them other than what I've told you already and what I've seen through other pop culture that has referenced Xena.
Yes, so they're pretty much together this entire episode, so I'm glad that you have some kind of reference for her background.
Perfect. So, what have we got in The Deliverer? Is this about childbirth?
No, but funny you should say that, because we'll get to that.
Uh-oh.
All right, this opens with a man in black leather with luxurious hair and snappy sideburns, and he's swinging a blade around, I don't know, a cavern? It's a storeroom, it's a cave, it's got a lot of gold in it.
Sure.
And a woman poofs into existence on the throne that's behind him, and she is dressed in a matching ensemble with a mini skirt, also all leather and bustier.
So far, so good.
She walks up to him, calling him Ares, so he clearly is
Ares.
The god. Ares,
the god of war. You didn't know that in ancient Greek mythology, Ares liked to wear leather and dance around with blades?
Yeah, apparently he does. He's super sexy. And she tells him that they have to talk about the cult, whatever that means.
The cult.
And Ares like, it's cool. Calm down. I've got it all in hand. I've got one of my best men on it. There's a lot of repressed sexual energy between these two. And he mentions that it's a mortal that he has going about figuring out this cult situation.
Is
and
it
the woman,
Xena?
I'm not going to tell you yet, Sam. And he never really does either. It's all just insinuated.
Okay, great.
He says it's immortal. She's very offended by this idea. Like, why would you not just destroy their temple yourself and resolve this problem? Which, good point, lady that doesn't have a name.
I've made this point before in other media, how like the gods, the good gods in science fiction and fantasy never interfere, while the evil gods always do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought of you when this happened.
Great.
I was like, yep, that's a Sam issue.
It is. I like her already.
And he asks if anybody has the nerve or ability to go against this cult god, and nobody but him does. But for whatever reason, who knows why, it must come from a mortal. Fake reasons.
Only mortals can solve mortal problems, Danielle.
Yeah, and apparently it's just like high stakes. If this god isn't destroyed, the world they know could end.
Okay, that's serious.
I know, it's very serious, but apparently they're leaving it to this mysterious mortal. So it switches to Xena and Gabrielle, and they're traveling through the woods. They come across a contingent from the island north of Gaul, and they seemingly are transporting prisoners. So it's a bunch of guards and prisoners in like stocks. And Xena goes to pass them after greeting, and one of the prisoners says, basically, like, you should just kill us here because our people will never give in to Caesar. And Xena stops dead in her tracks and turns around.
Wait, Caesar?
Caesar. Like
Julius Caesar.
Pretty sure.
Or Augustus Caesar. One. Okay.
One of the Caesars.
Aren't they Roman?
Sam, I do not know.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure Caesar.
Yes, Caesar is Roman. I do not understand how Caesar is involved in this. She has a long-standing, like, back issue with Caesar that's not detailed in this. I did a little bit of research.
Myths, not Roman myths.
Well, Caesar's involved, Sam.
Okay, again, my history is not great either, but I'm pretty sure Rome, like the Roman Empire came after Greece.
Well,
was like their big powers when they had the Athens.
This is a fictional event of fictional recounting of fictional events, so I guess they're
down the rabbit hole. Fine, let's go with it. Caesar is up there with Ares. Let's figure it out. Let's get them fighting.
So Xena turns around and returns to tell the guards to let them go.
She's like, "Hey, take your prisoners and let them go."
Yes, and the guard's like, why?
Yeah.
Which, valid question, guard. Valid question.
Who are you to tell me to let my prisoners go? I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but she has no authority here.
She doesn't answer this question. She just starts kicking their butts, and she's like, reason 1, and then she like hits him in the face. Reason 2, she kicks him, and then reason 3, she like uses a sword on him. I'm like, those aren't reasons, Xena.
Well, I think it's the reason of might makes right, Danielle.
Yeah, that's apparently how Xena operates her entire life.
She's a real autocrat.
She saves the prisoners, assuming they needed saving, I guess.
What? How do you know the prisoners aren't evil?
I don't, because they're working against Caesar. She has a thing against Caesar, Sam. They have some history. He, like, broke her legs or tried to, or I don't know. There's some past episodes with Caesar.
What is he, a loan shark? Yes, bring me Xena. She owes me money, and then teach her a lesson. Because
later he tries to break some other people's legs, and it's, like, in honor of the fact that he screwed over Xena in the past, like, betrayed her or something. There's some big betrayal between Caesar and Xena. I did not look up the like deep background between Caesar and Xena. The context of
this is very important. I'm glad it's missing because this is fun.
That's what makes this episode so much fun. So she asks why Caesar wanted the prisoners. She asks the prisoners this. And he explains, the leader of the group explains that he's rallying troops to fight with Boadicea against Caesar. And like I said, she has clear beef against Caesar. We don't know why, but she's surprised to hear about Boadicea. And apparently she has some kind of past history with this woman as well.
Apparently there's a past history to everyone.
Yes, actually, Gabrielle says that at one point. You're like the who's who of fighters. Like, you know everybody. Why am I surprised you know this person?
Yeah, right.
And Gabrielle and this leader guy keep kind of eyeing each other. He introduces himself as Craftstar.
Craftstar?
Craftstar.
Cool name.
Yeah, and he is the first priest of the Temple of the One God.
Which god?
The One God.
Which god?
It's called the One God, Sam. As in, it's a singular god.
Very arrogant god, considering there are other gods that literally exist in this world.
Right. We'll get there. So that's his official title. They never give him a name. It's One God.
Sure, fine. I don't call myself the One Sam now.
Well, at one point they mentioned like the Israelite One God, but is this the same One God? We don't know at this
Yahweh?
point.
Yeah, we don't know about that.
There's a lot of gods running around is the point. We know that in Xena.
Sure.
And so Xena is all about this. She's like, sign me up. I'm here. Like, let's do this. I'm going to help Boadicea and I'm going to destroy Caesar is what she says. Basically like that.
You really know how to make us empathize with the character.
And now it's travel montage time. They're with the guys. They're going back. And Gabrielle explains that Caesar betrayed Xena in the past, hence all of her fury towards him. And Craftstar tells them that Caesar holds their temple, and he's worried about the destruction of it because it's an important temple to them.
Sure. I mean, that's happened. Greeks have, or I guess Romans. I can't keep this straight. Never mind.
Gabrielle asks about the name of the one god, so she is on the same thinking as you, Sam.
Yeah.
And he tells her that they're not permitted to speak the name, but he's happy to tell her more about the religion. And she's like, nah, it's cool. Gods are a pain in the butt. There's already way too many involved in my life.
Not untrue.
So meanwhile, Ares and Xena meet on the beach. They're alone, and they also have a history. Again, she has a history with everybody. Apparently, at one point, he wanted to kill her mother, and he's like, I didn't really want to kill your mother. I just wanted you to join forces. Semantics, like, give it up, Xena. Let it go.
Yeah, I only had to murder your mother, man. Just let it go.
I like Ares.
I can tell. You're a sucker for a hunk in leather.
Yes, that's why. He says he's there to help. Caesar has this temple that Ares has suggested he destroy, but Caesar's holding on to it very mysteriously. So, hey, Xena, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It must be pretty important. Sure would suck if you destroy it.
Subtle.
Yeah. And she's like, well, he wouldn't just want a temple. Like, there's got to be some kind of meaning behind that. And he's like, yeah, there probably is. Maybe you should do something about that. That is
why does no one tell anybody anything?
I don't know. This whole thing is Ares not telling Xena why anything's important. So they all get on a ship, they're sailing, and Gabrielle and Craftstar they've become fast friends. They're below deck. She's showing him some anti-nausea techniques. The sea's a little stormy. And he admits that some people call their group a cult, and he hates the idea of that because he has a history with this, and he's found it a really peaceful and good place to be in.
Not to get into the semantics here. Craftstar, if that is your real name. But the difference between a cult and religion is basically just how widely accepted it is.
Yes,
so,
arguably, but he's just offended people call it a cult.
All right, fine.
But he gets that having one god is a new idea because obviously there are multiple gods at this point in time.
Right. Having a one god flies, but if you can literally interact there's Ares, he's on the beach. That changes the calculus a bit.
Yeah, I would assume at this point you're just thinking who's the most powerful god as opposed to there's clearly more gods. You have proof of more gods all the time.
It's not like there is only one god. Except for the one I ran. I ran into Ares down there, and Hermes was just at the market, and I ran into Hephaestus just when I'm doing my grocery shopping. So.
It seems more like, as this kind of progresses, it's more like the god that you support the most that will support you back is kind of the idea.
Okay, all right, fine. Saying, the one god person is very arrogant to declare themselves the one god when there are literally other gods that people have met.
Yeah, I don't understand the logistics of how there's one god when there's multiple other gods as well.
Right.
But here we are.
Here we are.
So he's all idealism about peace, prosperity, blah, blah, blah. Xena's not into it. She walks in the middle of the conversation and she's like, nah, I'm cool. Don't want to hear about this. And she's pretty surly. And so Gabrielle kind of steps away from Craftstar, goes over to her and kind of talks to her and goes, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And apparently she was allies with Boadicea in the past and she ended up using her army and kind of betrayed her. And so she's feeling some guilt. And that's one of the reasons she wants to go back and help her destroy Caesar.
Okay, so hate Caesar because Caesar betrayed Xena. Love Boadicea because we betrayed
Xena
Boadicea.
Betrayed Boadicea. Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't see herself as the same as Caesar. It was different when I betrayed Boadicea. Caesar could unforgivable to betray me, but I betrayed Boadicea. That's fine. I'll just make up for it by helping her destroy it. It's fine.
Probably betray other people for what they think is a greater good in her head. It's probably it was very important that I betrayed her because I need her army to save the world, or whatever the case may be.
I'm just saying the hypocrisy is pretty blatant.
Disagreeing on that point. However, I think Xena knows that it's not the best thing.
Yeah.
So now suddenly the ship is boarded by Caesar's men. And when I say boarded, I mean they just magically appear on the ship. At no point did the ship stop or get heralded over. It was like, hey, we're coming aboard your ship.
Is there another ship?
You don't even see another ship. No. Xena just shows up on the top deck and they're standing there. Caesar's men.
Well, there are gods. Maybe they pooped them there.
I mean, Caesar could be working with gods. Sure.
Yeah.
So they're just there. And they're like, you can't come. Caesar says, no. And they're like, oh, well, we don't want to fight against Caesar's men. We'll leave. We're going to just go check on the winds. And so Xena climbs up to the crow's nest and does this like super fancy dance with her sword and then just uses it to reflect light to like the coastline, and then a little light on the coastline reflects back at her. I don't know why she
signals somebody on the coast.
She does, but I don't know why she needed to do the super amazing dance with the sword in order.
Danielle, have you no sense of like joy or movement or pizzazz?
Yeah, maybe it's part of the like whoever was spying on them had to see this super secret dance to know who it was.
Right, it's like an encryption algorithm. Like I don't know how that light beam's come from someone I can trust.
That must be what it is. We solved the problem. Thank you, Sam.
There we go. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
So they pretend to leave, but they actually sneak onto land. Apparently nobody was watching them very strongly, because the only reason they realized that they snuck back onto land is because one of the guards was like, oh yeah, they left this morning. They went north. And the other guy's like, north? They're not supposed to go that direction. Oh, they're on land. Let's go. And they ride to war, I guess.
Good guards.
And so they attack them along the coastline. Xena and Boadicea have met up and they're riding into war, and there's this very questionably choreographed fight scene, but the music's great.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like they do a lot of this kind of Irishy, Scottish, Celtic background music kind of thing going on whenever Xena does stuff. It's good music. And they win. They win against Caesar's little army force that's there. And they all yell and do their war cries and are excited. So meanwhile, during this, for whatever bizarre reason, Gabrielle and Craftstar are not involved in this fight at all. And they are captured in the forest as they're running through to somewhere. I don't know where. It's very unclear where they're running.
Maybe they're running off for a little canoodling.
Yeah, maybe, but it didn't seem like it. They were just like, let's go. We've got to go through here. And then they're captured by Caesar's men. So it switches to that night. Xena and Boadicea kind of get into an argument a little bit there. And Boadicea tells her the only reason she's putting up with Xena is because she can't defeat Caesar without her. But she knows that she's not there for her. It's just to destroy Caesar. Like, it's not like a nice thing that Xena's there trying to help her out.
Accurate.
Yes. And at this point, she's like, hey, where's that girl that you said was like coming, that you're supposed to ferry back here with us to this fight? So I guess she was put out of the fight. Gabrielle's not really a fighter. And
what is she?
She's like a friend of Xena's. They traveling companion, I would say.
Yeah, but what does Gabriella get out of this whole arrangement?
What does she bring to the table?
Or what does she get out of it? Like,
that would be a great question, Sam, if I could remember the first 3 seasons of Xena.
All right.
She's a friend. She's got some healing arts. She tempers Xena down a little bit. She like has that connection to Xena to make her like not such a terrible person.
Sure, fine.
I'm sure she brings other qualities to the table. She's involved in a lot of plot lines. I don't want to call her sidekick because she's definitely more than that. Especially later seasons, she's definitely got equal footing. But she realizes that she's missing, and she realizes also that Boadicea knew that they weren't at the coastline and lied to Xena. Said, yeah, we're bringing them back. They'll be with us tonight at camp. And she knew that they had gone missing, but she didn't think that Xena would leave if she told her, which is true. Xena would not have left. They're like, we needed to get out of there before more of Caesar's men came, and you wouldn't have if I had told you the truth. And
dun dun dun.
At this point, because she got really angry, she'd actually kicked the guard that was protecting Boadicea and like popped out his windpipe, and she like pops it back in. He's gasping for breath.
Is that how that works?
I don't know, but I laughed. I was like, ew. I don't think that's
gross.
How that works.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm with you.
So she assumes that Gabrielle has been taken hostage to use against herself, to use against Xena, because I'm sure...
Leverage.
Right.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Craftstar and Gabrielle meet Caesar. And Caesar is played by the guy who plays Dr. McCoy in the Star Trek reboot.
Oh.
I know.
Okay.
Like a young version of him. His name's Carl Urban. Just FYI.
Yeah.
So I saw him. I was like, hey, it's that guy. So instead of killing them, he tells them he's going to wait until first daylight to take them to the hill, whatever that means. Something bad.
Danielle, you don't know what the hill is? It's like the one god. Everyone knows.
The Death Hill. Xena wants to set up this trap. She has this idea that Caesar's looking for one big glorious battle to like go down in history as the guy who wins, you know, some huge battle. And so she wants
That seems dumb.
I know. So she wants to play into that. So she decides that she's going to set up this trap for him. So they're planning all of that. And luckily it seems to be on the same hill that they were going to the next morning.
Well, that just makes sense. It's the hill, Danielle. Everyone goes to the hill.
That's where you fight. It's just the top of the
hill.
Gabrielle and Craftstar are meanwhile, you know, stuck. They're not locked up, actually. They're just in a room and there's some guards. And they're talking about their one god. And Craftstar tells a story about realizing that the other gods were crap when his farm was ransacked by this warlord and he was left for dead. And when this happened, he saw the ransacker leave offerings for the same gods that he prayed to. And he was like, how is that fair that the gods would support this warlord destroying my home and not support me? And he was...
To be fair, he's right. The Greek / I guess Roman gods in this instance, they were not so concerned with like virtue or people. Like they were just kind of doing their own thing. They were basically just like people with magic powers.
Absolutely. So,
which is great, which is why they're wonderful.
I'm kind of on his side. He was taught about the one god, or the specific one god, by some dudes that had saved him. And at the time, he was like, you guys are sheep for believing in this god. Like, I just saw what happened with these other gods. But he came across the warlord that had destroyed his home earlier. He, like, comes across him. He's wounded. And he's like, finally, I can kill you, you know? And he goes up to kill this guy. And then suddenly he says he was filled with peace and light. And he just had this, like, a voice basically, like, calling to him saying, no, this is not the way. Don't kill him. And he realized that it was the one god, supposedly. So he didn't end up killing this warlord.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, that was his calling. His calling moment to the one god.
Calling moment was not murdering a dude. Cool.
And Gabrielle and him kind of have a moment. She's like, oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad for you, kind of thing. The next morning...
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. Yeah. Get me out of here.
No, she seems to like him. He seems like a nice guy. The next morning, Caesar knows it's a trap. He literally says, this is a trap. That I want this epic battle. We're going in. This is what we're doing.
People are dumb.
I know. It's great. Caesar, you deserve to lose. So they end up taking Gabrielle and Craftstar and crucify them up on, they wrap their arms. They don't like do the nail things, but they put them up on crosses on this hill.
Fine.
And Caesar orders them to get their legs broken. He has the guards go and break his leg, which is some kind of throwback, again, to something that happened with Xena in the past.
Maybe he just likes breaking legs, Danielle. Don't shame him.
He might, yeah. He's kind of a warlord. But before they can do that, people pop out of the ground.
Oh, this trap I totally predicted. How surprising.
And by pop out of the ground, Sam, I mean that they are like covered with dirt and moss on, like they're just like trap doors under the ground. But there's actual like wooden plank things.
Oh,
they like
a trapdoor spider type situation.
They literally just like push the trapdoors out and like pop out of the ground and they like zombie arm their arms.
They have time to make that?
I don't know. That's amazing.
Wow.
They know there's this is all a ruse, and yet they didn't have any guards watching people dig
This is why
holes.
you don't have just the one hill.
This is crazy. I was like, where are they coming from? When did they have time to build burrows under the hillside?
I guess they had all night.
And then there's this epic, 20-person battle, because apparently they didn't have the money to have more than 20 people.
Look, you work with what you got, okay?
And Caesar just stands there 100 feet away, kind of off on the hillside going, no, they're winning.
What did he expect?
No, he doesn't even go with his men. He has 10 guys behind him and he just stands there and is shocked and appalled. And Xena cuts down Gabrielle and Craftstar. And then Caesar throws this javelin through the sky, which Xena takes down with her, she has a boomerang disc.
Oh, right. It's like a disc with an S in the middle. Right?
Yeah, I don't know about S. I think it's
handle.
just a circle, like a ring, like one of those frisbees that has the hole cut out, like a donut frisbee.
Oh, okay.
And it's metal, and she throws it like a boomerang, and it always chops stuff down, and then it comes back to her magically.
How did she not cut her hand open catching it?
Sam, I don't know. It looks like a pizza cutter. Like a really big pizza cutter. So she takes down the javelin and a shard ricochets off and slashes into Caesar's hand, is sticking out of it. And he doesn't fight. He just yells. He's like, I want every legion in the country here by tomorh.
Why not have them here before?
Why didn't he knew there was something going on. Why is he so confused?
Alexander the Great, he ain't.
He walks away. Everybody cheers. We did it. We won against Caesar in this round. And that night they battle plan, apparently for the big fight. Whatever. I guess there's going to be another fight. Their plan is to divide and conquer. They're surrounded by hillsides, and they also want to take the temple that Ares mentioned earlier.
Yeah, of course.
The next morning at the temple, all the guards are there, and they have those big metal armors, like the Romans always do. They hold up, and they do like a roly-poly effect where they block all their, like, in front of their faces.
You mean they do like a phalanx with the shields all interlocked?
Yeah, and then they do them up on top, too. But the best scene in the entire show is that Xena rides her horse directly at them, jumps off the horse and like plows into them. Like she jumps on top of the roly-poly and just like breaks it open.
Okay. Amazing. But also, my understanding was they all had spears when they were in a phalanx and like had them pointing up and to the side, so that would not happen.
No, well, she jumps right in the center, so if there were spears, they were not in the center. But
there are people in the center who hold their spears upright.
Nope. They just like made a little pill bug formation with because their spears, there were like javelins and spears throwing at them too. That's why they started. Okay,
sure, why not?
No, I agree. Your solution would have solved her jumping on top of them.
I think the actual formation had spears like just everywhere, like a porcupine.
Yes, they didn't do that. And that's what they get. Xena jumps on them.
Yeah, that's why you do your phalanx correctly.
There you go. We need General Sam.
Well, I mean, no, I'm just terrible idea.
Backseat General.
Oh, man, I would get you killed so quickly.
So they all run, they're losing, they run off, and Xena's army follows behind them. Now, as before, Gabrielle and Craftstar are not involved in this army. I don't know, guess they're useless. They're just like hanging out behind. And they're left to...
Again, why are they there?
I don't know. They're left to their own devices, and Craftstar's like, yay, we got our temple back. This is excellent. And then just out of the blue, like 20... people in robes show up. Like, they're just the people who, I guess, were waiting for the temple to be free.
Hide out in the basement, sure.
You don't see them earlier, you just see them now. So they go in to check out the temple, make sure everything's as it should be. And as Xena is kind of riding off, she gets a little waylaid because Ares shows up again.
He's everywhere.
I know. And he tells her that she didn't follow his super vague instructions to destroy the temple. Like, hey, Xena, didn't I tell you to destroy the temple? And she's like, dude, what's this about the temple? Like, why are you so weird about this temple? And he says, there's no place for one god in the world that we've created. And she's like, you're just like afraid history's going to repeat itself. Like the Titans before you and Zeus destroyed them. And now you're afraid that this one god's going to like win against you guys. And Ares is like, whatever you think of us, we're not evil, but this one god is. I was like, they're kind of evil.
I don't know if they're evil so much as just ambivalent.
Yeah, like they're not the best.
You can do better, Xena.
And Xena's like, whatever, why should I trust you? Like, we don't have a history. Why should you destroy the temple? Why do I have to destroy the temple? And she kind of just walks off.
Wow, good for her. Show that Ares who's boss.
But also, Ares, just communicate. Like, what? If it's that important, if for some reason you seem to think this temple needs to be destroyed, maybe you should tell her why. You ever think about that?
I can only speculate because I only have the information you've given me, but probably if he just told her why he wanted the temple destroyed, she wouldn't do it.
She might not, but maybe, because you're going to find out in like 2 seconds why.
Oh, okay.
This actually is resolved in this episode.
Oh, okay, great.
So meanwhile, back at the temple, Craftstar and his little people are going to do a ceremony to like refresh the temple and make it theirs again. And another practitioner, as I said, they all appear out of nowhere wearing like druid robes, tells Craftstar that some stuff has changed since he's been out, recruiting people against Caesar. And so she wants to do the service. And he's game. He's like, yeah, go for it. Make sure we do it right and how we're supposed to be doing it. And so she starts talking and she's doing the normal kind of religious speech about renewal, cleansing, renewal from the old. And then she's like, and we will tremble at his arrival. And Craftstar's like, this has changed a lot. And she continues. She goes, the door must be opened. The path of his arrival must be sacrificed in blood, pure blood, innocent blood. And he's like, huh? And suddenly rogue people grab Craftstar, who's yelling, and drag him to an altar that they're all standing around.
Oh, bye-bye, Craftstar.
And she's like, the hand of Dayhawk will sweep the earth and bring with it a winter of 1,000 years. And this is where I ask myself, Sam, why?
Who is Dayhawk?
Well, that. We'll find out. But mostly, why do so many people bring forth an eternal, winter
or darkness or whatever,
destruction of the human race? How does that benefit them as the human race?
I'm guessing they just never outgrow their teenage emo phase.
I'm assuming they're thinking, well, I'm on the side of right. I'm going to be one of his minions, so he's not going to hurt me. Why would you want to live in that
Maybe they just like
scape?
darkness, Danielle. Maybe they like winter. Some people like winter.
Well, she's on board. Don't understand why this sounds appealing, but she's there for it. And Craftstar's yells, he's like, this isn't our god! And he yells for Gabrielle. And the road people, the druidy road people, start, singing. Da, 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 da. Really dramatic music.
Sure. Got it.
And the woman raises a knife to stab him, and Gabrielle breaks free. She's being held by rogue people, and she wrestles the dagger from her while they continue to sing. They don't even stop singing.
Well, the singing's the important part, Danielle.
It is. Apparently, it's part of the ceremony. And she cuts him free, and then the woman grabs her and, tries to pull the dagger away from her, and Gabrielle ends up stabbing her in the stomach.
Innocent blood spilled, oh no.
I know. She looks super shocked. She's just kind of staring at her hands and staring at the blood, and you can tell she's probably, assumedly, never killed anybody before, because she's just like, oh my god, what did I just do? Oh my one god, what did I just do?
Thank you, Danielle, for clarifying.
And Craftstar rises from the slab and slowly takes the dagger from her hands, and he thanks her. He's like, thank you, you're bringing Dayhawk into this world. He needed a sacrifice of an innocent, and that's you.
So the guy who was going to be sacrificed is like, help, save me. And then he gets faked out?
Yeah, plot twist. He was in on it the whole time.
This makes no sense. Why did they not just take Gabrielle when she had the chance?
Well, apparently she has to sacrifice her innocence of whatever. She had to give up her innocence.
She had to kill somebody.
She had to kill somebody or do something terrible.
This is the most convoluted nonsense.
What's worse, Sam, if you really think about this, what was the plan prior to meeting Gabrielle?
I don't know, just get an orphan?
Pure luck. It's pure luck that he met Gabrielle. She happens to be this, kind, lovely human being.
Sure.
And then she does one of the most dramatic, the thing that all TV shows do. She goes, no!
Love it.
And it cuts to Boadicea and Xena, who are having this moment where they're kind of they're having a heart-to-heart, and Caesar's army is quite large, and they kind of clear things up on their end, and she's like, okay, well, you go this way, we're this way, we're gonna figure it out, we're gonna fight it, we're gonna win. And then they look off into the distance, and above the temple is this huge storm cloud that's brewing, and Xena's like, that's not good, that's above the temple, that's where Gabrielle is, peace out. She just leaves the battle.
I mean, yeah, storms are scary.
She runs to Gabrielle. She runs to the storm, Sam. She's Xena. She's not afraid of a storm.
Oh, my mistake.
So she gets there. Gabrielle's sobbing. Xena's trying to, comfort her. She's like, what did you do? And she's like, I killed her. You wouldn't kill anybody. She's like, no, I really killed her. Definitely murdered this woman, and I'm bringing about the destruction of the earth or something. And Craftstar appears, and he is like, well, thank you for giving me Gabrielle so that we could complete our task of bringing back Dayhawk, or whatever his name is, this evil wood god. And then somehow Craftstar has magic powers. He has super strength. He brings about fire. He didn't seem to have these before.
This makes sense. He's working for Dayhawk. Dayhawk's a guy who gives powers. We knew this.
Yeah, apparently just calling him forth now, he has these magic powers. Then Gabrielle, they get into this huge fight, Xena and Craftstar. These fire tendrils sweep out and try to pull Gabrielle, and they pull her leg towards the slab and then raise her into the air, and she's being consumed by fire that's not burning her. She's just consumed by fire. She's floating in the air. It's very dramatic. Pretty solid CG, actually.
Sure.
And there's this huge fight scene between Craftstar and Xena, and Craftstar's, actually holding his own because he apparently has the magic powers of Dayhawk now. And she says this great line about, what's so good about this guy anyway? All I've seen is a lame attempt at religion and some fancy fireworks. And this demon appears out of the giant fiery pits. Apparently they've been able to call him.
Yeah, sure.
And he's like, you can't talk about Dayhawk like that.
I appreciate having someone there to defend my honor.
Yes, and apparently this is the deliverer. This is the title of the episode. He is supposed to bring forth Dayhawk into the world by killing Xena, I guess, using her blood. But he and Xena get into this huge fight, and she ends up pushing him into the fiery pit. Perhaps his body is used for sacrifice. I don't know, but theoretically, Dayhawk is called. I don't know.
You don't know a lot, Danielle.
Well, this episode is open-ended. The temple collapsed. It just like starts to break apart, falls apart, they escape, and Gabrielle's like, everything's changed. And that's the end of the Caesar line. There nothing happens with Caesar, you find out nothing more about him.
Well, you don't know that. You know what happens in the other episodes.
Actually, Sam, I looked up the next episode because I was curious. Do they fight Caesar? What happens? Do you want to know what happens? Very briefly, one line.
One line, yes.
Yeah, the next episode, Gabrielle is pregnant with Dayhawk's child.
What?
And they get into a fight with some banshees. No
How'd
Caesar.
she get pregnant?
I don't know. Fire?
My health classes were a while ago, but I don't think that tracks.
I was like, huh. And so it's assumed Dayhawks. I don't know how all that turns out, but she has like a 1-day pregnancy or something, pops out a baby, and there's a whole shenanigans with that.
Wild, man. Wild.
A wild episode. I had to tell you the ending of that, though, because it gets weirder if you know the next episode.
Apparently so. Well, that's Xena, I guess.
50th episode of Xena. It's a good one, you guys. It's very good. So what did you think, Sam? Was that a fitting addition to our 50th episode?
I mean, it certainly made me more interested in what the heck's going on in Xena, so yeah.
I know, made me want to watch all the rest of the episodes. I was like, oh yeah, I love this show. It's crazy. And Lucy Lawless's acting is just like...
Just the right
amazing.
amount.
Just the way Xena should be.
Yeah, no, that was great. Well done, Danielle. Well done. Thank you.
She does a lot of like long eye stares and eyebrow acting, and I'm just so here for it.
It does sound amazing.
So, Sam, what are you going to share? This is the first time we've got to do back-to-back sharing.
I know, it's weird.
I know, I'm pretty excited about this. What did you bring to the table for your 50th episode on our 50th episode?
This was tough for me, Danielle, because a lot of the things I think are very weird don't have 50 episodes, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that I have watched that has 50 episodes, you've seen a fair amount of it. Like, I couldn't do Star Trek, unfortunately. So I went down to the safe zone where I know you haven't gone, which is modern animation.
Okay.
So I have chosen to share with you 1, maybe 2 episodes of the TV series Regular Show.
All right. I've heard of it. I don't know much, or
I think you've heard of it probably from me.
Probably from you. It's true.
So, just to give you a little background on it, here's just a brief description of the series.
All right. It says, the series revolves around the lives of 2 working-class friends, a blue jay named Mordecai and a raccoon named Rigby, both employed as groundskeepers at a local park, as one is.
Yeah.
They usually try to solve a simple problem that leads to a surreal, extreme, and often supernatural misadventure.
Yes. So, this is a very bizarre and abstract show, which is why I have decided to bring to our 50th episode, because I figured, if not now, when?
When, Sam? When?
So I'm going to start with episode 50, and depending on how that goes, maybe you have time to do episode 51 as well, because they are only 11 minutes generally, so I figure we can make these in 2 little bite-sized chunks.
Sure, because Xena is not 11 minutes.
No, it's a full 44, I believe, yeah.
All right, continue on. Regular show.
So episode 50, entitled Wrap It Up.
Mm-hmm. Is that W-R-A-P?
Nope.
R-A-P?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we open at the park snack bar, where a rap group named Crew is issuing an open rap battle challenge. The leader is guest voiced by Donald Glover, Childish Gambino.
Nice.
And the other members are voiced by Tyler, the Creator, and MC Light. So, they like to get their celebrities in when they can.
Apparently. Good job.
Yeah. So they proceed to trounce a dude who comes up in the rap battle with some very mean lyrics. And Mordecai and Rigby, who are watching from the snack bar, which they are manning, all cheer appreciatively along with everyone else in the park who's watching. That's when Pops walks up. Now, who's Pops, you might ask?
I am. Who is Pops?
He is the adult son of the park owner. He is a very sweet and somewhat naive man, and he looks kind of like a lollipop. He is a rail thin with a giant head, almost as round in diameter as his body is long.
Is that why they call him Pops?
Maybe. I have never thought about it. Because he looks like a lollipop. He also wears a very tiny, or I guess proportionally tiny top hat, which is very cute.
Well, yes, if one has a large head, one should wear a proportionally tiny top hat.
Yes. So he walks up and sort of accepts the challenge and opens with a poem saying, "A hug can be the most wonderful thing. 2 arms wrapped around you like a mother's wing. But we're so selfish when we are blue. Doesn't a hug deserve a hug too?"
So you want a hug on top of a hug? Double hug?
I don't understand, Danielle. I mean, I'm not a poet. I don't. Maybe there's something above my head here.
Like a hug needs a hug?
Like a hug is sad. It needs a hug too. Like, who hugs hugs when they're sad?
Aw, poor hugs.
Yeah, so this gives you a sense of Pops as a very sweet man. The crew is unimpressed by his display of vulnerability.
Oh, come on. Boo.
They're all like, "What, are you stepping up to us?" And Pops is like, "I'm just excited for other poets who love rhyming. It's so nice to see more poets." And they basically go into their own, response rap, calling him a loser, and then you should go home. You're not cut out for this. You suck. And so then Pop starts to cry.
Poor Pops in his pop hat.
I know. And that's when Mordecai and Rigby rush out and are like, "Come on, Pops, let's get you out of here." But Pops turns around defiant and insists he's not a loser. And he challenges them to a poetry battle, which they interpret as a rap battle. And they agree to battle him that night.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mordecai and Rigby agree to help Pops by being part of his crew and training him. Now, again, I believe the description mentions this, but just to reiterate, Mordecai is a very tall humanoid blue jay, and Rigby is a somewhat humanoid raccoon who is short.
Got it.
About the size of a regular raccoon.
Is this relevant to the rap battle?
No. But I just want to get you the characters in this show are all very weird in terms of there's one who's a sentient gumball machine.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I know. So that should give you a sense of how this show likes to be a little weird.
Does the gumball machine have a name?
His name is Benson, and he is the manager of the park, the boss.
Perfect.
Yes. Anyway, so Mordecai, Rigby, and Pops, they go back to the house, and Mordecai and Rigby demonstrate how rap battles work by insulting each other and in a fun kind of way. But Pops is not into that whole thing. He's like, "I don't like making fun of people with rhymes. Poetry is about expressing beauty, not negativity." And so he takes them outside of the park and starts reciting poems about how beautiful the park is. And Mordecai and Rigby start getting really into it. And that's when crew walk by and start laughing at them. And Pops is like, "Doesn't matter. We're still going to win because you don't rhyme from your heart."
So I have a question.
Yes.
About rap battles.
Okay. I'm the wrong person to ask.
No, but in this context, you are the person to ask. Are the rap battles decided by the audience in terms of who is appreciated the most?
Not really. I mean, ostensibly, yes. That's what's demonstrated earlier, but we'll get to the rap battle that happens in this episode towards the end. Despite Pops' confidence, Mordecai and Rigby are pessimistic. So they head back to the house where they find Skips, who is the Yeti handyman of the park and is voiced by Mark Hamill.
Nice.
And
what
he's
a good
eating
cast.
It's a great cast. This show is an amazing cast. And he's eating a bowl of alphabet soup.
Of course. I mean, why would you not be, especially as a Yeti?
Of course. And Mordecai and Rigby lament about how they can't win. What are we going to do? And then Pops comes in and he is carrying these matching uniforms. Like, "I got matching uniforms for us." And they look like the leotards from an old Shakespeare play where they have the frilly collars. Like a comedy interpretation of a Shakespeare play, not real Shakespeare.
I'm here for Pops. You go, Pops.
Pops is the best. Mordecai and Rigby are not into it. They tell Pops, "Look, we're going to lose. We should just drop out." Pop says he can't do that since they called him a loser. Mordecai says, "What if they're right?" before instantly regretting it. But too late, Pops runs out crying, saying, "Fine, I'll do it your way."
If they lose, all they do is lose their street cred, right? In this rap battle. It's not like they made a bet against anything specific.
As far as we know, that is the case at this point.
Okay. Is that going to change?
We'll find out, Danielle.
Uh-oh. Up the stakes.
Oh, so there are stakes aplenty. So Mordecai and Rigby feel bad, and they ask Skips, "What should we do? Are we losers? We can't do this. We'll just look like losers." Skip says, "I lost my appetite," and he slides the bowl of soup over to them and leaves. And Mordecai and Rigby look into the bowl, and they see a sentence spelled out in the alphabet soup, and it says, "Mordecai and Rigby, friends don't let down other friends. You guys are losers."
Aww. Also, how hard would it be to, 1, spell that with alphabet soup?
Absolutely.
And 2, keep it in
perfect formation?
A line.
Yeah. While you slide it across the table. Skips is kind of amazing. He's impossibly old. I think he's functionally immortal.
Nice.
Yeah.
As all Yetis are, as far as I can tell.
I'm just saying, he probably had time to learn how to craft alphabet soup in his infinite years.
It was like 1 year of his life. He's just sitting there. He's like, all right, I'm going to make this work.
Look, if you had infinite time, I think you'd devote some of that time to doing weird crafts.
With your alphabet soup.
Oh, of course. Why else? I'm like, oh, look at this newfangled alphabet soup. I'm going to see what I can do with this. So Mordecai and Rigby, they take that soup message to heart and are like, oh man. So we cut to that night where Pops is in the battle and trying to throw insults, but not doing very well. He ends up saying like, oh, your shoes are a nice color, as one of his like rap burn. He's like, oh, darn.
So he's by himself?
Yeah, he went by himself because Mordecai and Rigby were like, Tim, we shouldn't go. We can't do this.
Little punk faces.
Yeah. But as he's sort of suffering, Mordecai and Rigby show up. They're wearing the unitard outfit and they're quoting the poetry. And they're like, Pops, what you do is art. So we're here to help. We're going to do this.
Is Pops in his leotard as well?
No, he is wearing like street clothes. Like they dressed him up in like a hoodie and a backwards cap to try to, get him to fit their idea of what a rap battle should be.
So he's not wearing his top hat, pop hat?
No, unfortunately not.
Sad.
So this is when the battle begins in earnest, and they start reciting poetry. And as they recite the poetry / rap, the things they say start to manifest in reality.
But why?
Because.
Because supernatural shenanigans, as explained in the summary.
But yes, exactly right, Danielle. Supernatural shenanigans. It just happened. Just go with it. I can't explain it.
Okay, sure.
So, for instance, Pops will say to the crew, like, you're some of the best rhymers I've met. And the words, like, best will appear and, like, fall down and crush one of them or something.
Okay.
And so then the crew comes back, and one of them calls them, like, sardines and ham. And a giant can of sardines manifest with Rigby inside until Pops and Mordecai open the can and pull Rigby out. Or one of them says, like, Mordecai, you're all turned around. So his head literally turns around on his head and he's facing backwards. Like, oh, thank you for this
creepy.
new perspective. And so they keep going back and forth. One of the crew is made to sprout wings and he flies off uncontrollably. And so they trade these weird barbs. And finally, Pops
and nobody,
walks...
just to clarify, I'm sorry. Nobody seems to think this is weird just because weird stuff probably happens all the time.
Yeah, they're going with it. None of the people watching, none of the people involved, they're all just totally here for it.
They're like, that's odd. Continue on. I'm sure this will not be trouble.
Finally, Alpha, that's the name of the leader of the crew, steps up to Pops, and Pops lays into him with his last thing where he's like, hey, this has been really great for me. I've really enjoyed the competition. You're really good rhymers, but there's something you're missing, and it's because you don't rhyme from the heart. And because of that, I know that I believe in myself, and therefore nothing you say will ever bring me down, so I've already won. And as Pops is saying this, like this ball of light manifests from his heart and like forms between them, starts growing in intensity as he's saying this. And once he drops the final word, it just explodes. And presumably just kills the crew because they just vanish from this point. They're no longer seen. They're just gone.
No.
Yeah, I told you. The stakes for this rap battle were apparently very high.
Or death by giant glowing ball of light.
And so there are cheers all around as the audience cheers and then wander off. And Mordecai and Rigby congratulate Pops and say, hey, good job, you did it. And they'll congratulate each other.
Congratulations, you killed the crew.
The crew is
you
dead.
Won.
They were crushed by our words or made to fly away with weird wings or just exploded, apparently. And then one of their other friends, who is named Mitch Sorenstein, but everyone calls him Muscle Man because he's a small green man with pink eyes. And he just says, hey, nice outfits, losers. And like, all right, we should go home and change. The end.
This brings into so many questions.
Yeah.
About, like, mortality and if death has any, like, if they have any issues with the idea of what's beyond death.
I gotta say, Danielle, I can only speculate from, I've seen the series. It's fun. But from this point here, I say that they've seen so much weird stuff, they're just numb to it. They're like, at this point, so inundated with weird stuff and explosions and death that it just doesn't faze them anymore. They're like inoculated against the shock of death.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
I bet you didn't. Rap battle turns deadly because of awesome words.
There's a headline.
So that is one episode of Regular Show.
Well, it's quite the 50th episode. You go, regular show. Bring it home big.
I was a little disappointed because these episodes are not the weirdest episodes of regular show. They're not the ones I might choose to highlight the insanity of regular show. So just imagine how weird they get in other episodes.
Yeah, if weird is not being consumed by a giant ball of light at the end of a rap battle and nobody caring, then I don't know what weird is.
Well, let's get to episode 51 then, which is called Cruisin'.
Okay. Do it.
We open on a coffee shop that is like the regular coffee shop that Mordecai and Rigby go to. And there's a cheesy cop movie on the TV. Think like Starsky and Hutch, where two guys, they cruise up to a pair of girls and they like say, hey, let me get your phone number. It's the only thing I'm missing. And they score some phone numbers. And
is that really their line?
No, it's something it's a cheesy pickup line like that.
Because that's a really bad line.
It's something, I don't remember exactly the line, but it's something along the lines of, the only thing we're missing are your girls' phone numbers or something like that.
That should not work on you, anybody out there in the world. Don't give a number out for that line.
Well, again, we see the people watching it, and of course there's Mordecai and Rigby who are very into it, like, oh, that's so cool, those guys are awesome.
That's so lame. Don't do it, Mordecai and Rigby.
Well, there are two girls watching. There's Margaret, who is a cardinal. So she is the counterpart to Mordecai's blue jay.
Woo-hoo.
And Mordecai, throughout the series, has a massive crush on her that is largely unrequited.
And does Rigby get somebody?
Well, she's also working with her friend / work partner, Eileen, who is a beaver.
Beaver and a raccoon.
Yes.
Beef-coon?
Bee-coon.
Rackfear?
Reaver? I don't know. And in this instance, Eileen has the hots for Rigby, which also largely goes unrequited. It's a very complicated show, Danielle.
Apparently.
Anyway, they are very unimpressed by it. They're like, this is so unrealistic and misogynistic. You guys don't think that's really what would happen.
Yeah, see?
But Mordecai and Rigby insist that all they need to get a girl's number is a cool car. It's the only thing you need a cool car. That's how you score numbers. If we were cruising in a cool car, we could totally score numbers.
I'm sure it would have some success rate, but I wouldn't say it's the only thing one needs.
Margaret and Eileen do not buy this. They're like, BS. And they're like, okay, you want to bet? So the girls suggest that if they can get a number by the end of the day by cruising, they will buy them dinner.
Just one number?
Just one.
That's impressive. I would have gone with like 3.
Well, and if they don't get a number, then they have to buy Margaret and Eileen dinner. And so the boys are like, okay, sure. And the girls walk away laughing because they think there's no way in heck they're going to get any numbers. Mm-hmm. And then Mordecai says to Rigby, they're clearly flirting with us, obviously. Rigby was confused because he's like, wait, aren't we trying to get other girls' numbers? And Margaret's like, no, it's fine. It's just all some game. Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out when you're older or something. Or when you have more experience. But I'm like with Rigby on that one. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not.
So anyway, the boys pull up to the mall in their golf cart because that is what they drive.
Is that their car that they're going to try and get the numbers from?
It is.
Oh, I think they missed the point.
So they are ready to cruise for girls. And they run to Eileen and Margaret, who tell them if they win, they're going to take them to a super fancy, expensive restaurant, which they cannot afford working at a park and they're kind of lazy. Mm-hmm. So not going to happen. And they mention, hey, can you buy dinner for our dates as well? Uh-oh. Mordecai and Rigby are like, wait, you're bringing your dates too? Which really, is a real slap in the face. And now they have to panic because they can't afford to buy 6 dinners. So they really need to win. Mm-hmm. So now begins the montage of them failing to get numbers. They drive up to girls. They say, hey, give me a number. Nope. Hey, give me a number. Nope. And doesn't work out. And then as they stop dejected, they realize that, hey, wait a minute. We need a better ride than a golf cart. That's what the problem is.
That was not their original solution when they had that conversation earlier about needing a better car.
I guess they thought their natural charm and the golf cart would be enough, but
did
clearly...
they even have a cute line that they were using to try and pick up these numbers?
No, they did not. They have really bad lines they use later.
This is why they're single.
So they go back to the park and they find Pops. He's back! Yay! And in his top hat.
In his pop hat, Sam. Yep. His pop hat.
And he's washing his car, and they ask if they can borrow his car.
Every time.
Because, Danielle, I just know it's not going to go anywhere.
Because you're ignoring it.
Yeah. Ignoring your pop hat. That's going to make it something.
You know what? It's adorable.
Stop trying to make pop hat a thing, Danielle. It's not going to be a thing.
It's already a thing. It's there. It's a thing.
I guess it is.
I just made it a thing. I win.
Fine, sure. You have the pop hat. I'm just going to keep ignoring it then.
Yes.
So they ask Pops if they can borrow his car to win a bet. He's like, oh, a wager. I love wagers. And so he agrees to let them borrow the car. Carmenita is the name of the car.
Carmenita.
Yeah, great. But he explains that the car has special gears, and not to touch those special gears, says Carmenita's special parts should only be manipulated by a professional.
No. Boo.
But it's said by Pop, so it comes out very cute and innocent and not at all a double entendre. So they assure him, yeah, they won't touch the special gears, and then they speed off back to the mall.
They would touch the special gears.
Where they run back into the girls who introduce their dates, Chad Ironchest and Tuck Packard.
Of course they are.
And the dates are like, oh, you're Mordecai and Rigby. Thanks so much for paying for dinner. That's really cool of you guys. And then Mordecai and Rigby sort of panic and they speed off. So they start asking a bunch of girls, again, for their numbers in quick succession. Like, hey, we lost our phone numbers. Can we have yours? Doesn't work. Hey, are you angels because you fell from heaven? Nope. Then my favorite one, they go up to a girl and say, hey, we need to win a bet. And just walks off.
That could almost work. Like, I really have to get a girl's phone number. I have to win this bet. Isn't that what Google phone numbers are for or something? So you can give them out at random. Yeah.
So towards sundown, Mordecai and Rigby are parked dejected in the parking lot again. And they're thinking, what do those guys have besides a cool car? And Mordecai concludes, they had self-confidence. So we just need to act confident and then we'll get the girls' numbers. So they put on some big cheesy smiles like they're all confident. And then immediately 2 ladies just get into their car. And they ask for a ride. These ladies are very punk. They're like wearing punk outfits. And they introduce themselves as Trash and Scabitha. So as they're driving away, Mordecai's like, Rigby, just get their numbers, close the deal. But before they can do anything, the 2 girls like look behind them and say, oh good, they're following us. And there's another car following them. And they seem very interested in that because in the car following them are 2 punk guys. And Trash and Scabitha taunt them saying, get lost, dweebs. We're with our new boyfriends now.
So they're totally just using them.
Yes, obviously.
They should definitely give them their numbers because that's now the trade-off.
So Mordecai and Rigby insist to the other guys, we don't want your girlfriends. We just want their numbers. And this enrages the other guys who are named Bloodshed and Manslaughter to start ramming them with their car. So Mordecai and Rigby panic because obviously
it's not even their car.
Not even their car. And so Rigby pulls on the special gear and the car just flies up into the sky. Just takes off.
I told you.
Well, we knew it was going to happen. You just checked off special gears. So the car flies up to the sky, and the 2 punk guys are like, oh, 2 can play at that game. And one of them turns the dial on the radio, and jets start shooting out of their tailpipes, and they start flying.
Why do they all have magic cars?
Apparently, magic flying cars are just a thing here, Danielle.
Sure, why not? In the last one, a rap group got exploded into a ball of light, so why not?
Immolated by rap word, by poetry.
Death by poetry. Why not have magic cars?
Why not? Indeed. So up in the sky, the girls taunt the exes like, are you jealous? But while they're doing that, none of them see the jumbo jet that they just barely avoid.
They're like 30,000 feet altitude in these cars.
It's not very unclear, Danielle. They're high enough to be near a jumbo jet. Let's just leave it at that.
How are they not dead from like oxygen deprivation?
Maybe the cars are pressurized for their convenience.
Is it?
Although Pop's car is a
convertible.
Does have the top down, so that doesn't really hold water. It is a convertible with the top down. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're a raccoon and a bird. Maybe they can just breathe up there. I don't know how raccoons and birds work.
Maybe the bird. Maybe. Raccoons are not generally airborne.
Well, I don't know. You have flying squirrels. Why not flying raccoons?
I am calling shenanigans on this all day.
I can't really argue against that, Danielle. It's fair. So the girls freak out after missing the jumbo jet and are like, hey, set us down. We don't even want this anymore. We just wanted to make Bloodshed and Manslaughter jealous. And Bloodshed and Manslaughter are like, really? That's so sweet of you.
So their names are Bloodshed, Manslaughter,
Trash,
and
my favorite, Scabitha.
Yeah, I was going to say the good one, Scabitha. Those are some names.
And so after Manslaughter and Bloodshed express their appreciation for Trash and Scabitha, they're like, aw, can you just kill these guys so we can go home?
Kill them?
Kill Mordecai and Rigby so they can go home. Yeah.
Why do they have to kill them? How come they can't just say, okay, cool, peace out?
Honor? I don't know.
They're going to rap battle and explode a ball of light on them?
Not quite. So they start ramming Mordecai and Rigby again, and they knock the engine out of the car. And so the car starts to plummet, and the girls sort of float out of the car and are swept up by bloodshed and manslaughter, and they're recovered, and they fly off.
How did they sweep them up? They're not in a convertible, correct?
They open the door, and I pull them in.
Yeah, no.
They have a flying car, Danielle. They can do it.
Whatever. Okay, continue on.
But Mordecai and Rigby panic and start pulling random levers, like the trunk opens and all the stuff falls out of the trunk, and one of the levers makes bat wings come out the side of the car.
Nice.
And so they level off, and they're like, okay, and then they hit a tree. They crash into a tree that's in the parking lot of the mall.
Poor Pop's car.
I know, it's real ruined. So Margaret and Eileen run over to them to see how they're doing after the crash, like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And Mordecai and Rigby crawl out of the car, they're like, okay, we admit it, we'll buy you dinner, but can we just have your number so we can reschedule? Because I think we have to go to the hospital right now. And they're like, okay, yeah, of course, here you go. You can call us later.
And they got their numbers.
Yeah. So then Mordecai's like, wait a minute. We got a girl's numbers. No one said it couldn't be your numbers.
Ha ha, they lose.
So the girls are like, fine, but we get to pick where we go then. And so it cuts to them the next day at the coffee shop where the girls are working. They give them some free sandwiches and like, all right, here you go. And Mordecai would be like, okay, cruising is dumb. And we're glad we got the free meal, so we have to save up to pay for Pop's car. And then on the TV, we hear about a new movie. It's about fighter pilots scoring girls.
Well, they've already done that, basically.
And Eileen and Margaret just go, don't even think about it. The end.
But they were so good in their flying cars, Sam.
Yeah, they only crashed it and nearly died.
Well, it was good. A double feature.
Yeah,
a double feature in a double feature.
Just a little taste of regular show.
It's like Inception double feature, 50th episodes.
Well, I hope that was a good contribution to our oeuvre of 50th episodes.
I think it is. And 51 brings us forward. It's like looking forward to our 51st episode.
I would like to do 49 and 50 or 50 and 50. I think we should, be optimistic about us. If this doesn't end our series run, then nothing will.
The 50th isn't the end. 51 will bring us forward into the new light. Hopefully not a light that explodes us into oblivion during a rap battle.
Yeah, that's like your favorite part, wasn't it?
Just funny. It was really unexpected.
Weird. Yeah. That's what the show does. It has like a mundane situation that usually turns into something really weird in unexpected ways.
Well, Sam,
that's like us.
We're unexpected and twisty.
Well, Danielle, congratulations on 50 episodes.
Congratulations to you too, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
We'd like to thank our listeners for sticking around for our 50 episodes.
Yes, and if you're somehow still sticking around after this one, we promise we'll back to our normal shenanigans in episode 51.
We will, and we love you guys. We appreciate you all. Thank you. I know there's some that have listened from episode 1 to now, and we're not saying you are our favorites, but maybe you are.
Also, why? Why did you not give up?
Because, Sam, it's great. We're great. You have to have self-confidence in this industry, and we like to have it in spades. That's
a good point, and we really do appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And if you have any of your favorite 50th episode of any show or media piece, please let us know what your favorite 50th episode of something is. You can find us at bookretorts.com.
Or you can tweet at us, Facebook, or Instagram us at bookretorts. And it is pretty fun to look up episodes and see what the 50th episode is.
It's really weird. Some of them are just smack dab in the middle of nonsense.
Yeah, so kind of worth doing, I would say.
I certainly had fun with it.
I did. I can't speak for you.
I said I did. Okay. So there. Well, anyway, here's to 50 more. And until next time, bye.
Take care, everybody. Everybody, and welcome to Book Retorts. I'm Danielle.
I'm Sam.
And this is our 50th episode.
I want to try that again.
Okay.
That sounded really weird.
All right. All right, do-overs.
Your enthusiasm threw me off. I was panicked.
It's our 50th episode. I was trying to be excited.
I know. And I'm like, what's going on? Do I have to match that energy? Go as enthusiasm as you want. I'm prepared for it now. I just need some forewarning.
We're not supposed to be enthusiastic in our 50th episode.
I got that, but I didn't realize you're going to go hard right out of the gate.
Well, it's the time to catch people, Sam.
All right.